there are times when we have to communicate bad news to our bosses, be it a mistake or an error that we have done unknowingly, a project that we are managing which possibly is unfortunately moving towards failure, or a quantitative goal for the month, quarter, or year, which due to some reason we assess that we would not be able to meet. Regardless of whatever it is, it becomes necessary to communicate such information to our bosses. It may sound terrifying, however, it is a reality. In case we don't communicate the bad news to our boss, I'm sure he or she would get to know it from somewhere else or someone else, and then matters would become even more difficult for us. I would prefer to share with you 5 vital points pertaining to how you could manage this process of communicating bad news to your boss. This would enable you to have a better control on the situation and also manage the process of conveying the feedback in a robust manner. The first point is, when you're communicating bad news to your boss, select the right timing. It's all about timing. In case you're going to communicate bad news to your boss when he or she is not in a good mood, then the reaction is definitely going to be adverse. So you would have to check and understand as to when your boss is in a fine mood or in a good mood, and accordingly communicate the bad news. I'm sure in case you pick the right timing, it would possibly not go as bad as possibly we expect it to go, and our boss possibly would be much more sympathetic or receptive to our plight. The second point is, when you're communicating bad news, as much as possible, do it one on one or face to face. As much as possible, try avoiding telephone calls or possibly conveying the points or this bad news in a group setting. When you meet your boss one on one and you communicate the bad news, one, your boss observes your body language, and there's going to be a much more meaningful and empathetic discussion in most cases. And that's going to lead to a more fruitful discussion, and possibly the reaction from your boss would not be adverse in a one-on-one setting. And even if it's adverse, it's just going to be between both of you. In case there's an adverse reaction in a group setting, then you know there's going to be a lot of embarrassment in front of your colleagues, peers, and other individuals present in that group setting. So communicating bad news one on one and possibly face to face is necessary. The third point is, have a positive outlook. When you're going to communicate feedback to your boss, although there must be something wrong which has happened or may happen, regardless of that, you need to be positive and confident while communicating. That's extremely vital. The fourth point is, always do your homework. So when you're going to communicate the bad news, try to prepare yourself. And since I earlier mentioned to you, you need to pick your timing. So you also need to ensure, without procrastinating, you need to give yourself time to prepare for this one-on-one meeting with your boss. You also need to understand or analyze what are the questions that your boss would ask you, and accordingly have the right groundwork done. You should be ready with all the answers to all the questions pertaining to what must have gone wrong or what may go wrong, and you have to very confidently respond to that. And that's what is going to be an important factor in terms of your boss's perception about you. Once your boss understands that the mistake has happened, not because of any deliberate reason, your boss would be understanding and possibly support you to tide over the situation. And that's extremely vital. Last, however, not least, When you are in the meeting with your boss communicating bad news, also suggest how you can sort the problem. Everyone likes a problem solver. All of us get into problems at some point of time or the other. However, what's most important, it is overcoming those problems. So when you're having a discussion with your boss on this bad news or negative information that you need to convey, also communicate how this problem could be solved from here. What are the suggestions from your side? And also request your boss to provide suggestions, and together, in case your boss is understanding enough, you can jointly work to sort out this problem, which happens in most cases. So these are the key points that you need to bear in perspective while preparing or communicating bad news to your boss. In addition to that, what you can also try is to keep yourself calm before going into the meeting with your boss. Please do some breathing exercises. Breathe in, breathe out. That would possibly restrain any anxiety or smoothen or calm your nerves, which is absolutely important. Because when you're having a sensitive discussion, especially with your boss, you have to be cool, calm, and composed. You cannot let your nerves, anxiety, or anger get the better of you. So ensure that you manage yourself, you're not too emotional, and communicate all the points confidently and positively. All the very best. Thank you very much for your time.